Guys, just when you thought things couldn't get any better, Engin outdoes himself. East versus West 12 was amazing, amazing. Let's talk about the crowd before I go into anything else. The crowd was crazy. If you saw it on the live stream, looked like it was easily twice, 3 times as many people in the theater where they were at. So I don't know the exact numbers, but it looks like there was like at least 1,000 people over watching live, like live in person at East vs West 12, which is crazy. Shows that more and more fans are willing to actually, travel long distances to go watch their favorite athletes. It definitely does show that the sport is growing very, very rapidly. And on that note, the live stream numbers for the behind the scenes, it pretty much destroyed any single live stream behind the scenes from previous East vs West, even East vs West 10, which peaked at like 600,000+ about a day or so after the event. This one, I think, just checking it now, it's about 800,000. So crazy, crazy numbers, and just shows the trajectory for arm wrestling is still going very, very steeply upwards, which I'm very, very happy for as a fan of arm wrestling. But now I just want to talk about some of the highlights from East vs West 12. I'm not going to go into every single match and every little detail, but I just wanted to quickly give my post-fight thoughts while I still have it fresh in my head. So, number one, I didn't know Betkili Oniani was going to be that strong. I had an inkling that he was pretty up there, especially after the match he had with Oleg, where he was practically holding Oleg's wrist and still managed to hold him off that strongly. And this kind of cements my impression that Oleg is only where he is because of, the very unfair advantage that he gets in the strap, especially with the second strap lower down. You can watch my video talking about that after the previous one of the previous East vs Wests. But wow, Oniani Talgat Aktaev. Talgat Aktaev known for his very strong flash pressing move, but yeah, nothing. He had nothing for Betkili, so very, very impressed by that. I had Talgat winning, but proved me wrong. Also, it's a sad day for Sasho. In 95 kilos, it looks like he might be, tapping out his natural potential. He had a couple of difficult past few matches leading up to this, and this time looks like Irakli. They had a match about a year or two back before, and it was in favor of Sasho, but now looks like Irakli has really taken his strength to the next level, while Sasho is still just maintaining where he was at. So I'm wondering if Sasho, maybe not immediately after this, maybe if he takes a couple more losses at 95, if he would consider going down to 85, because I think he would be incredible in 85. I think if there's anyone who's going to take Davit Samushia's title, I'm going to talk about that later, but if there's anyone, it could be Sasho. Sasho walks around like, 87, 88 kilos, so very easy water cut for him to hit 85. Moving on to Mindaugas. Wow, shit. Mindaugas, after the last time you were on East vs West, you beat Daniel Prokopchik so clinically. I promise to never doubt you again. I vouched for you. You let me down, man.
You let me down, man. I vouched for you, and you let me down.
Wow, after the first go, where he, took Arthur's wrist very, very comfortably, had that celebration after they stopped the match for a while, I thought this was going to be an easy day for Mindaugas, because leading up to this, in my mind, I thought that Mindaugas would be, taking Arthur's wrist very, very easily. So, and also, Arthur has a history of losing his wrist against opponents of similar strength levels, Engin Terzi, Alan Zoloev, these guys, often when he's of opponents of similar strength to him, even though Arthur has that, crazy, crazy big hand and usually can just maintain his cup easily, usually the cup is the first thing to go for him. And if anyone is good at taking wrists, it is Mindaugas. So the first match, thought that was a sign of good things to come, but evidently not. So good on Arthur. Happy that he won. Just a little bit disappointed by Mindaugas. Schoolboy got expelled. Wow, this was one of my worst predictions for this one. I thought this was a joke, pretty much. I thought Schoolboy was gonna run through him so easily that we would have even, laughed about this as why was it even a match. But dang, after that first round, when Schoolboy could not get that first pin off the surge, he looked so nervous. He looked like he was about to cry. Leonidas really showing that he is not just for show. He's not all just beach muscles. He's a legit contender at a very high level of the sport. So huge respect to Leonidas. Apologies for doubting you. But yeah, that was crazy. I don't think Schoolboy is weak by any means. It's just that I think I gravely underestimated Leonidas. So yeah, look out for any future matches with Leonidas. That guy is really going places in this sport. And the next thing I kind of want to touch on is Michael Todd's match. I really hope and pray that he does not overreact to this win. It was a very close match despite the score being 3-1. Michael Todd could have very easily gone home the loser today, and or rather yesterday. And it was very evident that even round 2 there was a high chance that he could have lost that match. But thanks to favorable calls, I'm not gonna debate about that. But it was nonetheless a very close match. I hope that he does not let this get to his head and think he's some crazy contender for #1 in the world again. I hope he takes this in his stride. I hope Mike, sees this as a positive step forward, but I hope he does not rush into things. And next up, wow, Alizhan Muratov, truly the left-handed god. This guy is so crazy, punching well above his weight class. Alizhan, I honestly had doubts that he was gonna win. I'm just going to say it right here. I had doubts even up to the last day. I was switching back and forth in my predictions, thinking, maybe Alizhan has this, maybe Hermes. Finally decided that probably Hermes, just based on the fact that Alizhan had that difficult match against Oleg Petrenko last year. But damn, Alizhan's left hand has never looked better. It looked like he was toying with Hermes every single match, just wrist curling him in, and wow, giving him that handle. It really just put the nail on the coffin for Hermes. I'm not sure if Hermes is ever going to arm wrestle left-handed again. Did look a little bit sour toward the end there. Can't blame him, but it is what it is. Very amazing showing by Alizhan Muratov. And of course, can't say how crazy the main title card was. Devon Laird versus Levan Saginashvili. Not gonna lie, they had me in the first round. Wow. For those of you who kind of thought that Levan was maybe not serious in the first round, I wholeheartedly believe that that was a legit first round go by Levan. It was not for a lack of trying. I think he tried as hard as he could given the circumstances. He did talk in the post-match interview how he didn't really feel he had a good grip, and you can tell if you replayed that, you can see that Devon was already preloading in that setup. Levan didn't exactly look the most comfortable, but so I think that was a legit stop by Devon given the circumstances, and that just goes to show, that 67, 68, 69 kilo back pressure pronation, that is enough to cause Levan to willingly give up his wrist, which it says a lot. It really says a lot about the level that Devon has reached, but it also says a lot about how crazy far ahead Levan is from the rest of the pack. And I don't know if we're gonna see him being challenged again for the foreseeable future, the next 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. So there's gonna be this void in the arm wrestling world again, and there's gonna be the question of who's gonna take that crown from Levan. Could it be Alex Kurdecha? Could it be someone like Vitali if he gets a little bit bigger? Who knows? But I think it's going to be along the lines of one of those guys who has a big enough frame to match Levan in terms of his size, in terms of his physique, and just raw power. Match of the night for me, definitely Nurdaulet Aidarkhan versus Davit Samushia. Wow, this was as good as arm wrestling entertainment can get for me. Back and forth, seeing them try every single thing they had in the arsenal at so many points during this fight. I honestly thought that Davit Samushia was going to lose this one, and it would have been crazy ending his multiple year-long winning streak on East versus West. But that guy is so crazy, busting out that flop wrist press in such an ugly position, pushing down on practically the forearm on Nurdaulet. Now we've seen people like Jerry Cataret do that. So ugly, but he got the job done, and he really cemented his position as the king of 85 kilos. I think he is pretty much the most well-rounded guy in that category. He has very few weaknesses except for out of the strap. We saw that Nurdaulet was able to exploit the weakness in his wrist outside his strap. We saw him grabbing on. Davit Samushia was trying to bail out with a flop wrist, and Alizhan is grabbing onto that thumb, not letting him go. Very, very amazing match from both athletes. I'm not just saying this because I'm in the 85 kilo category as well, so I'm a little bit biased, but honestly speaking, that was such an incredible match. And it's probably one that I'll be watching over and over again, just trying to dissect it, technically speaking, just as a fan and as a lover of the sport. So that's all I wanted to talk about for today. Such an amazing event. I'm gonna head to bed now. But guys, let me know your thoughts about East vs West 12. And yeah, what other future matches are you guys looking forward to on East vs West? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm Greg, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.